There are thousands of binational couples in long-distance relationships, couples who depend on international travel as part of their commitment to the one they love. In March 2020, their worlds were turned upside down.
To keep new cases from entering our shores, we will be suspending all travel from Europe to the United States for the next 30 days.
She and I are classical musicians. I'm a bassoonist, she's a flutist. We're at this festival in Austria, in this really beautiful region called the Attersee. So we're in this little program together, and it was just like a little under 2 weeks long. But we just had like this amazing, really deep connection really quickly on a personal level. I mean, I think it's a special thing about like being from such different cultures and backgrounds and still connecting in that way. It makes it all the more like astonishing almost, you know. I think I knew it was love really quickly somehow. Just as classical musicians, it's really hard to find that compatible artistic partner. And it's amazing that we're able to connect in that way too, where we can work together and support each other in a really unique way as partners in like the full sense of the word.
I didn't tell anyone I was pregnant, actually, when I went to the doctors to take this. Me and Carlos met while we were actually vacationing in the Philippines. I was with my two friends while we were boarding. In order to get onto the flight, we had to take like a little bus. I sit down and this guy just like stands right in front of me. And there's people behind him telling him to move forward. And he just would not. He just stood right in front of me. I thought to myself, okay, he's kind of cute, but I'm not gonna give him any attention. So we went our separate ways. We ended up going back to the hotel. Till later on in the night, actually, we decided to go out for drinks, and then he was there at the bar, and then that's where it all started. He finally got the courage to talk to me. I knew there was like a real connection when we were at the Philippines. He took me to this secret beach. So we were just laying down there, and it was just probably like the most beautiful thing ever. I realized Carlos was the one for me when I flew back to the United States and I had to leave him in the Philippines. I had like this sense of like just me missing him really bad. When I got home, he said, okay, let's try this out. I was planning on going to Germany in April to see him, to visit him. However, I found out I was pregnant, so he decided that he would come here because, just in case there was like any doctor's appointments, like he wanted to be here for that. And he just wanted to be involved as much as possible. So we were planning on seeing each other in April.
We're both graduate students, so I was doing some research for my PhD and he was a master's student. And we were both at the same institution. I remember the first time I saw him, I had come back from winter break and the school had sort of these like parties. I saw him there dancing salsa and he was by far the best dancer there. And I was like, oh, I kind of want to dance with them because I really love salsa. And a couple months later, there was like a international street fair on campus, and I remember going to the Dominican booth to get some food, and he asked me if I wanted to dance, and so we danced there just like on the street. And then after that we kept talking and dated for the rest of the time that I was living there in Costa Rica. when I was finishing up my research and I was coming back to the States to finish up my degree. He took me to the airport. It was a really emotional time. I had been living in Costa Rica 2 years. I had to say goodbye to all my friends there. And he came into the airport with me and he gave me this necklace. That was a necklace that his mom gave him and that he wore every day. He didn't say anything. He just took it off and he put it on me. And yeah, I knew how much it meant to him. It really helped me in those moments when, when I found out and we weren't together. It really helped me feel closer to him. I last saw him in December, January. I went there for the holidays to celebrate with his family, to get some time together while I was pregnant. We were both working so hard trying to finish our theses. And but we thought it wasn't a big deal. Like, we would see each other 6 weeks later. He had a visa interview in the next couple of weeks, and his plan was to come 1 month before my due date.
759 people are currently in hospital.
Los hospitales de la Ciudad de México trabajan al 100% de su capacidad.
Les entreprises du voyage et le syndicat des entreprises de tour operating ont alerté le gouvernement de leur situation.
These restrictions will also not apply to the United Kingdom.
The President has made a decision to suspend all travel to the United Kingdom and Ireland.
State officials closing schools, halting gatherings, and deploying the National Guard.
The first thing I thought was, oh my gosh, when am I going to see Carlos?
We didn't know how long it would last, but of course nobody expected that it would get this bad.
Never did it cross my mind that it would not just stop travel, but stop everything, stop documents from being processed, stop healthcare. And I just trusted to some extent that our country would be able to figure it out and that it wouldn't become what it's become now.
To be separated and then each of us going into quarantine on our own, the feeling, the hopeless feeling and the frustration of it going on for so much longer. I mean, it's just so frustrating. It's not just the time apart, it's the not knowing that makes it really, really tough. It really clarifies what matters to you most. Suddenly, it's like you know what you really care about and the only thing you want, And it became super, super clear. She's irreplaceable for me.
Of course, Carlos not being there for me is also really hard and difficult because, he had scheduled a flight out here to be with me and to be part of this pregnancy. And that was all shot down when, the travel ban was placed in March. So he missed the first ultrasound, and I thought, okay, maybe the next one he can come to. But then, I scheduled my next one and, he also couldn't be there. And that was, the first time I got to hear the heartbeat of the baby. And that was really an emotional time for me. And so I actually did another scan so I can record that heartbeat for him so I could save that. So when he does come here, even though he wasn't with me at that time, we can have his heartbeat.
Yeah, it's crying. Do you hear it? It's good. It's crying. Yeah. I'm trying really hard to deal with the emotions of giving birth and having this brand new person that I have been so excited to meet, but I didn't have my partner and I wasn't allowed anyone in the hospital. I had to wear a mask every time I interacted with him. He was only 2 days old. And it had to be that way for 2 weeks, and I was so afraid he wouldn't know what I looked like.
I think my biggest fear is probably Carlos missing the birth of this child. Yeah, it's just it's his first child, my first child. And I think we'll never have that moment back. And just really want him to be there, and especially because like something can happen to me or the baby, but ultimately I think every dad deserves to see his baby being born.
¿Cómo está el rey? ¿Cómo está el rey? Hola. Look at me.
Everything happened in that moment. The Dominican closed its borders, and we had no idea when we would see each other next, how old the baby would be. So there's all the feelings of your child not knowing his dad who wants to be a part of his life so badly, but also the realization that you're totally alone. You're gonna have to do this on your own indefinitely.
Thousands of couples around the world have come together to create a movement called Love is Not Tourism, a movement to urge politicians to offer safe travel solutions for binational couples and families separated by the pandemic.
My hope is that we find some exceptions or exemptions to these bans.
Every day I just hope that something will change. I just hope that, you know, people like understand that we need our loved ones with us, especially during a time like this. And the fact that we can't be with them is just emotionally draining. And it's just heartbreaking for me and the baby.
She and I are both really responsible citizens. I would never want to spread the virus in her country, and I would take every precaution possible to avoid that.
We're willing to do anything. We're willing to have tests multiple times if need be. We're willing to quarantine, wear face masks, anything just to be with them.
I would get a negative test before, get tested afterwards, quarantine when I got there, quarantine before. I mean, I take this virus already really seriously. I don't want to put myself at risk. I don't want to put my family at risk.
We talk a lot in the US about wanting to keep families together and, you know, keep the nuclear family and keep the fathers in the picture. And for us, it literally was not an option that our government gave us.
Through petitions, letters, social media, and the urging of EU Commissioner Ylva Johansson, several European countries have made exceptions for couples to see their loved ones.
I think as a citizen of the country, I deserve to be able to be with my partner and vice versa. It's such a basic right and such a basic need that governments shouldn't have the right to prevent.
So I was able to find some other mothers going through something similar to me via some groups on Facebook. Some are married, some aren't, but a lot of the couples who have at least one European partner still have the right to bring their partner over because there's a baby involved. And in the US, we don't have that right.
You know, it's amazing that it's so difficult, even if you're already married, to come to this country. But it's also unreasonable to force people to get married in order to come to this country.
You know, I just hope that anyone can hear us, or any politicians that hear us, really to put themselves in our shoes and really think about needing someone and having that loved one. We need that loved one here with us. And it's not about like vacationing or anything like that. It's just about us going through this hard time with our loved ones.
Dedicated online groups have provided a supportive space for the Love is Not Tourism community with advice, encouragement, and ways to stay strong through their struggle and heartache.
I respect the ban. I respect the need for it. I respect that countries need to protect their citizens and stay safe. But there are exceptions being made. There are exceptions for students, for certain types of visas. There are exceptions for professional sports. You know, there are a lot of exceptions.
I would hope that we can look at this sort of policy right now so that the people who are coming after us, giving birth, or who already have their new babies can be with their children.
If any politicians were watching this right now, my hope is for them to make any type of exemptions for our loved ones to come here so we can reunite. I know there's people out there, similar situation as me, and I think we need our loved ones with us, especially during a time like this. I wish the father of this baby will be able to come for the birth, and I just hope that all binational couples can reunite and be together.
As for me, I've experienced the same struggle and heartache. I made this film to give hope to couples like my partner and I. The incredible Love Is Not Tourism community helped me find a way to reunite and marry my now husband after 146 days apart, an opportunity many would do anything to have. 2020 has been a struggle for people all over the world. Thousands of couples and families who have been apart all year will spend the holidays without each other due to the travel bans. You can help now by posting a photo of someone you love and using the hashtag #LoveIsNotTourism on any social media platform to call on governments to safely reunite loved ones. Like Eric Coleman said, the power of social media is that it forces necessary change. We ask your support in honoring those torn apart by raising our voices together, because love is not tourism.
I found love in you, and I've learned to love me too. Never have I felt that I could be all that you see. It's like our hearts have intertwined into the perfect harmony. This is why I love you. Ooh, this is why I love you. Because you love me. You love me. This is why I love you. Ooh, this is why I love you. Because you love me. You love me. I found love in you, and no other love will do. Every moment that you smile chases all the pain away. Forever and a while, in my heart is where you'll stay.